The Great Depression explained like you're 5.
It's the Great Depression. You woke up rich, then went to bed broke. No war, no warning. Just a terrifying crash that wiped out $200 billion and sent America spiraling into a decade of hunger and dust. So what the hell happened? Let's rewind to the party before the fall.
The fact that people think this can't happen to us again.
It already happened. I got a news flash for you. Starving in America and being homeless in the streets. Central Park was called Hoover City or Hoover Town or whatever. During the Great Depression, there was all people sleeping in tents. The entire park, bro.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They were homeless, kid. Because that's what happens.
Imagine waking up in 1922. The war is over, the mustaches are ridiculous, and the economy? It's vibing.
Yo, isn't it crazy that he literally made like this mustache go extinct?
And the economy?
100 years later, here we are.
Factories are no longer making tanks. They're making toasters, vacuum cleaners, and the kind of refrigerators that say, ice boxes are for peasants. New York's skyline shoots up like it's on steroids. Jazz music becomes the Wi-Fi of the 20s. Loud, everywhere, and nobody fully understands how it works. The economy is booming. People genuinely believe the good times will last forever. Even economists said something like, trust me, this decade, absolutely roaring. And the engines of growth? They're humming? The Model T rolls off assembly lines faster than ever, thanks to Henry Ford's moving belt innovation. What used to take 12 hours,
a certain group of people. He was very racist.
Now takes 90 minutes. Cars flood the streets, auto plants.
He was a patriot though, bro. He was America first.
He was real MAGA.
He was real MAGA. Huh. What did he do? Didn't he like fight back?
I have no idea. These are, you know.
I gotta research that.
Allegedly.
What used to take 12 hours now takes 90 minutes. Cars flood the streets, auto plants explode with demand. Oil, steel, rubber, every linked industry gets pulled into the slipstream.
Oh, that's what it was, bro. His workers in the factory back then, being a factory worker, dude, they were chilling.
Yeah.
They were chilling back then. They were able to pay for a home, their wife, their kids to go to school, everything from being a factory worker. Dude, being a factory worker now, what do you make? Maybe 50K a year, if that?
Dude, if you even have a job with these robots, dude.
Yeah, now it's just jobs overseeing robots.
Yeah, dude.
The American economy isn't just growing, it's revving. As cities flourish with electricity and luxury, America falls in love with gadgets like radios. 10 million homes have radios by 1920.
And the shaitan entered the home. Go ahead.
Inch by inch.
Meaning 10 million homes now hear both 𝐂𝐥𝐿 and 30 different soap ads in glorious AM fuzz. But while cities are partying, rural America is struggling to even get on the dance floor. Farmers, once rich from wartime demand, now face plummeting prices. So they borrow to modernize. But the shiny new tractors don't save them. They just help them go broke slightly faster. Meanwhile, urban America discovers its new favorite hobby, buying stuff they can't afford. Welcome to the era of buy now, pay later. Want a radio? Finance it. A car? Finance it. Stock in a company that makes hats for dogs? Definitely finance it. Banks thrilled by this innovation.
Yo, dog, it's not just financing it, it's the interest. If there was a flat fee when you borrowed money, okay, I'm gonna borrow $1,000, I will pay you back $75. More than fair. You make your money back and more. Then, that's not really that evil at the end of the day. It's when you charge interest and you say, oh, look at it, it's only 5% interest, and then God forbid you miss a payment. Not only can they just take everything you bought back, they don't give you any of your money back.
No credit.
But you just keep diving and diving into more and more debt. So every month, you're just struggling to pay off the interest, which doesn't pay any of the balance you actually owe. That's just essentially late fees.
And the dude's wearing the wrong hat in this video. Oh, God.
Interest is so demonic, bro.
Offer installment plans to anyone with a pulse. It's the financial equivalent of saying, sure, I'll marry you. We've been on 2 dates. But the true heart of the mania lies in Wall Street. The stock market becomes Disneyland for adults. Margin loans let anyone buy $100 of stock with just $10 down. The remaining $90? Who cares? It's the future. Stocks only go up, right? Even the barber knew. Trust me, kid, utilities are hot. I made a killing in stocks. You're still a barber, though. Yes, but...
This is a good video for a cartoon, right?
Yeah, way better than the ones you've ever picked. Admit it.
It's a good video. It's a good video.
Okay.
Spiritually, I'm a tycoon. You know things are bad when your barber, your butcher, and your dog all start giving stock tips. Shoeshine boys pitch can't-miss investments to bankers. A bellboy tells a Vanderbilt to dump railroads and go all in on pencils.
Dude.
Between
Fart coin, this and that. Dude, history really does repeat itself.
We're in the roaring 20s again, kid. When the house of cards comes down, there is no coming back.
1924 and 1929, the Dow Jones quadruples. Stock prices break free from gravity.
That's crazy.
Fundamentals.
Imagine going up 4 times. Now, let me give you a news flash. Since the crash of 2008, okay, which was really bad, dude, we've only gone like this. So we were down to like 7,000 points and change. We're in the 40s, dude. There hasn't been a real correction yet. They're just printing and buying equities. When this house of cards comes down, we're finished.
I don't see how the country's going to recover from that.
It's not, bro. It's all air, bro. It's all air. We're in trouble.
In so many layers, dude.
And it's going to take down all the paper money of the world, bro.
Just so you guys know, too, we talked about this last episode. Only $250,000 that you have in a bank account is insured. So if you have 10 mil in the bank and that bank goes under, you could literally just lose $9.75 million like that.
Guess what, kid? When that happens, you can't eat paper. Inflation, you can't buy nothing with it.
Not only that, bro. Who has cash nowadays? Who even has cash?
No
So
one.
let's say it gets to the point where you even need wheelbarrows, bro, which it's not.
They literally phased out cash.
You spend money on your phone. I don't even carry my wallet around anymore. I carry my phone and pay with this.
Carry your brains, that's all.
Just carry a gat. Be like, give me that bread, yo.
Texas is where it's at.
A few people tried to sound the alarm. Economist Roger Babson warns in 1929, a crash is coming. Wall Street responds by buying more stock and telling Roger to go touch grass. Jazz band starts playing over him. Dollar bills rain from the sky. Nobody hears him over the sound of cash and optimism. Meanwhile, behind the champagne and jazz, cracks are forming. Rural debt climbs, consumer debt balloons. The economy's partying on a cliff's edge, and nobody's checking if the floorboards can hold. But hey, don't worry. It's 1929. What could possibly go wrong? October 29th, 1929, America woke up rich and went to bed broke. That day would go down in history as Black Tuesday, the day the stock market didn't just fall, it performed a flawless 10-meter dive into concrete. The Dow plummeted. Ticker tapes spit out red numbers like they were possessed. Phones rang nonstop. Suits screamed. Traders fainted. One guy reportedly had a heart attack.
People started jumping off.
Recovered,
buildings.
looked at his portfolio, and had another. $14 billion of wealth vanished. Gone. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $200 billion. Not monopoly money. Real homes, savings, college funds, hopes, and dreams. Gone. Sell everything, except my Patagonia vest. It's all I have left. Outside the stock exchange, crowds gathered in stunned silence. Some held hands, some cried. Others just stared at the ground, trying to understand how an entire economy had tripped over its own shoelaces. The Roaring '20s hadn't just ended. They had face-planted into a brick wall while carrying everyone's retirement plan. And that was just the start. The crash triggered a chain reaction. First came the margin calls. During the boom, people had been buying stocks on borrowed money, put $10 down, get $100 worth of shares. Until the market tanks and your broker wants the other $90 immediately. Investors scrambled. Many had nothing left to repay. Paper fortunes vanished overnight. People who had been rich on Monday were bankrupt by Thursday. Bankers who had spent the summer drinking martinis now sat in their offices, staring.
Do you have any good stories from 2008, from anything you saw?
A lot of people lost their jobs. They were lending people money that they knew mathematically they couldn't pay it back. And they were giving anyone a loan. You could be a pizzeria guy and get a $500,000 loan. You could be making like literally $30,000. They were just, here. It was called the ninja generation. No income, no jobs, no assets. What's interesting though, if I'm not mistaken, like the first crash ever, I want to test 𝐒𝐥𝐤𝐵T right now. The first crash was over the stupidest thing you would ever think. It was even before, there was another crash before this in the 1800s.
What was it over?
If I'm not mistaken, tulips. 18 something.
Was there
A stock crash over tulips.
Was there a stock crash over tulips? Yes, the famous tulip
Damn,
mania
it was in the 1600s.
in the Dutch Republic during the 1630s is often described as the first recorded speculative bubble and market crash in history. Tulip, I feel like I've heard of this. Tulips, newly introduced to Europe from the Ottoman Empire, became a luxury symbol among the wealthy in the Netherlands.
So the Muslims brought tulips to Europe. Okay.
Rare varieties like Semper Augustus could sell for more than a skilled worker's annual salary.
A flower, dude.
Even in the price of a house or estate.
How crazy is that?
Dude, this happens all the time. NFTs were selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars with no utility, with no use. People started speculating on tulip futures, buying and selling contracts for bulbs that hadn't even been planned yet. Yo, they've had meme coins since the start of this shit. All crypto is at the end of the day is hype. And how many eyeballs are there?
Speculation.
Speculation. Is this going to go up in the future? Are more people going to see it and buy it? That's all it ever comes down to. I've been in the crypto space for about 4 years now. And I made millions in the NFT space. And I was building a company. And one thing I really realized is people don't care what you're building. They care about how much they see it. How much are they going to continue to see the project or the coin or whatever you're working on? Because if there's more eyeballs, there's more buyers. And that was really frustrating because I had the best of intentions with building this NFT project. I wanted to go and build financial literacy around the world and do this and build this crazy video game. And nobody gave a shit about that. Nobody cared at all.
Just wanted the money.
Yeah, people just wanted the money.
The crash came in Earth. Finish that, dude. Why did it crash? Finish the... Go up.
In early 1637, confidence suddenly collapsed. Buyers refused to pay the agreed prices when contracts came due, causing panic and defaults. Prices for rare bulbs fell by more than 90% in 2 weeks, wiping out fortunes and ending the tulip trade frenzy.
I can't believe they were trading tulips, dude.
Brother,
how crazy
we do the same thing today. What do you mean?
I know, with air. But at least
with air.
But it's a flower. You can make more. It's just weird, dude. Go finish the thing, dude.
That's it, bro.
What does it say?
The wider Dutch economy survived. Like, it didn't cause a whole depression, but many individual investors were ruined. It became a cautionary tale of market speculation, a prototype for future bubbles like the South Sea bubble, the 1929 crash, and even crypto or real estate bubbles. Is that the pizza?
Yes, it is.
Let's go, bro. Bro, let's go. Thank you, Unc.
These kids don't know how to eat. They don't know how to eat fast, bro. Should we show them how Unc eats?
You didn't put cheese and stuff on mine, bro?
What do I know what you want on it?
I always put cheese and stuff on mine.
Look, I went and got it. I couldn't even walk. You want me to give you a hand job too?
Let me go put cheese and on mine, man. If you're eating that mic, I'm stabbing.
Fast. You gotta eat fast. So we can get back to the show. World record. I just broke the Guinness Book of World Records for eating a slice of pizza. I am the champion, bro. I'm going to Nathan's next year, bro. And make sure you say Bismillah before you eat. World record.
Did he just actually eat the whole pizza in one bite? He just said he ate the whole thing in one bite. All right, back to the video.
It's like they were written in Greek. And then came the banks. Oh, the banks. These grand institutions, pillars of trust, marble floors, oak desks. Turns out they were built on worthless paper and blind optimism. As the stock market imploded, banks couldn't get their loans back. So they did the obvious thing.
Took everyone's houses.
And the people? Not jogged, not briskly walked, ran. Bank runs broke out like wildfire. Crowds surged outside local branches, banging on locked doors, screaming for their savings. Inside, tellers tried to calm them down.
Pause it.
Everyone, please. Your money is completely safe.
One of the most famous movies that they like to play during the holidays in America.
I just watched that last year. I know exactly what you're pulling up. It's so wonderful life.
So this really happened.
Hey, come on, give me that money.
They all want their money. They all want their money. They want their money. They're waiting at the bank.
Just remember that this thing isn't as black as it appeared.
Right? So they all want their savings. They're all going crazy. This really happened in American history.
That's what your wife is going to say when the AI videos come out.
Happening? Potter isn't selling, Potter's buying. And why? Because we're panicking. Here's $2,000. This will tide us over to the bank reopens. All right, Tom, how much do you need?
$242.
No, Tom, just enough to... Thompson, how much?
So he did. He pulled off a miracle because if he had like $2 left or something.
Bingo!
He gave from his personal savings to
And
pay
they
the
only
people
took
back.
just what they needed to get like their bills paid. So, but he wanted to like jump off of a...
Yeah, that's what made him depressed. And the whole
So
movie's
if
about.
you attach your life, your well-being, your happiness, your spirituality to monetary and materialistic things, you will go down. You will go down.
Okay, not completely. Entire families lost everything. Grandpa's bonds? Worthless. Aunt Margaret's savings? Little Timmy's piggy bank? Still full, but only because no one had the heart
What's the
to tell
greatest
him
movie about
he was
this?
now.
And the park is not too far from New York City. It's called Cinderella Park. Cinderella Man, bro. where he's in the Great Depression, his family's struggling, he's starving. He was never like a top contender, and because of the necessity for his family, he becomes the world champion, bro, against a guy that killed someone in the ring. That was real, dude. North Bergen, New Jersey, Cinderella Man Park. I actually have an episode about it on my channel.
Wow.
Where I showed the statue and everything. That was a great movie, dude.
I'll check it out.
No, like, there's the one scene where, like, he's about to lose. I gotta see it, dude. And it starts flashing his kids like they're hungry and like they're in the, like, and he just starts, boom, boom.
Yo, you gotta talk up. Speak up. I can barely hear you. Dude, it's so funny how, like, predictable you are with, like, when you eat food and, like, then you start talking more quiet and you start slouching.
Kid, my ankle hurts, kid.
I know.
We've been doing this for 2.5 hours, bro. What am I, a clown? I'm here to amuse
the
you?
disaster
What am I,
didn't
some
stop
kind of
at
clown?
America's shores.
Maybe Joe Pesci, bro?
U.S. banks, panicking, called in their overseas loans. European economies, already duct-taped together after World War I, were thrown into a blender. Germany's fragile recovery collapsed. Britain wobbled. Global trade, once the great artery of prosperity, choked and fell by half in just 3 years. And yet, amidst the panic, came the denial. Newspapers printed sunny headlines. Market adjusts as investors take profits. Right below, a photo of a man pawning his wedding ring to buy bread. Politicians insisted the worst was over. Bankers in silk vests smiled nervously into microphones, delivering the financial version of, "We're totally fine, nothing's on fire." President Herbert Hoover appeared on radio broadcasts, calm as ever, assuring the American people that the economy is fundamentally
I mean,
set.
what is he supposed to do? Go on the air freaking out and panicking? Like,
I'm sure he knew it was coming.
probably.
Meanwhile, millions sat at empty dinner tables and wondered which part of that sentence was supposed to help. And still, the system didn't stop. It just staggered forward. Broken, clueless, pretending. The crash wasn't the bottom. It was just the beginning. And what waited below? That's where things get dark. By 1931, the music was completely gone. The lights were off. The party was over. And what came next wasn't silence. It was the sound of factories grinding to a halt, of fathers whispering apologies they never thought they'd have to say, of America exhaling all at once and realizing it had nothing left to breathe in. Unemployment soared to 25%. 1 in every 4 Americans who wanted to work couldn't. Jobs vanished like smoke.
Isn't it funny how now it's the opposite? Like, we need people to fill in jobs and Americans don't want to work?
Until AI takes it out.
Detroit, once the industrial crown jewel, watched its auto plants shutter one by one. Production collapsed by 75%. The great machines stopped turning, the lights dimmed, and the men who once assembled the American dream stood outside factory gates and waited.
Do you think that, you know how the people that, like, around the world, like, they've been doing this for way back? Like this way back. So do you think that they intentionally allowed or push for these big collapses to happen so that they can go and then grab, like, basically everything?
That's what happened in 2019. It's what they did in 2019.
Yep.
They robbed us. The biggest transfers of wealth in history, bro, happened in the last 5 years. We're heading right towards the great, not the Great Depression, the greatest depression is what I'm calling it. The greatest depression.
We're going to be eating bugs. Honey garlic, cockroaches.
But here, eat some of this. They're going to take a dump and...
For what? They didn't know. Cities sagged under the weight of need. Breadlines, endless and quiet, snaked through downtowns. Mothers lined up at dawn for a bowl of thin soup. Children looked on, too young to understand why breakfast was a luxury. Teachers reported students fainting in class, not from boredom, but from hunger.
In
They hadn't
America,
eaten in
bro.
days. America wasn't starving metaphorically.
That's why
It was
interest is
starving,
evil,
literally.
forbidden by God. We haven't learned our lesson yet. We want to suffer again because when this bubble bursts, it's bringing it all down, bro.
So what specifically makes you think that this is going to be so much worse than the 30s?
Because the bubble's
Bigger.
a million times bigger. Million times bigger.
People are also less self-sufficient.
And less retail stores open. Like, there's just, bro, and it's coming. But God knows best.
Not even Jesus knows the hour. Only the Father.
Desperation crept into every room. Banks had failed. Savings were gone. Dignity was thinning. The suicide rate surged. Newspapers stopped printing obituaries. They couldn't keep up.
Imagine
Behind
that,
every
dude.
statistic was a name. Behind every name was someone who had believed once that this country would take care of them. Marriage rates collapsed. Birth rates fell. the future had become something people avoided talking about. Who could dream of weddings and children when they couldn't guarantee
It kind
dinner?
of feels like that right now.
And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, the sky turned black. In the Great Plains, years of aggressive farming
Dust Bowl.
had stripped the land bare. When the
Dust
rain
Bowl.
stopped, the soil cracked. Then came the winds. Dust storms swept across the heartland,
The Dust Bowl.
towering, choking, biblical. Black blizzards, they were called, and they didn't just cover the ground. They blotted out the sun. Crops were buried, livestock suffocated. Homes filled with dust.
The Great Dust Bowl.
Families coughed through the night and woke up coated
Grapes
in the
of
earth
Wrath.
that used to feed them.
Great book. You think that we
Oklahoma?
would have learned our lesson with all these collapses and what it does to people? You think we would have learned in the West? No, we tripled and quadrupled down. Quantitative easing. Printing and printing and printing, bro. Reese,
Millions fled. They packed everything they had into broken down cars and drove west, chasing rumors of jobs and land that hadn't yet turned to sand. California or bust, the signs read. But for many, it was just bust. In Washington, President Hoover tried to hold the center. He encouraged volunteerism, offered modest relief programs. He even launched the Hoover Dam, an engineering marvel. But it couldn't feed the hungry in Chicago or shelter families in St. Louis. He refused large-scale federal aid, called it dangerous, called it un-American. But by then,
Imagine
people
that.
had stopped listening. His name became shorthand for suffering of Hoovervilles, shantytowns
That's what it
made
was,
of scrap
Hooverville.
and cardboard. Hoover blankets, newspapers used for warmth. Hoover flags, empty pockets, turned inside out. His legacy wasn't just concrete and engineering. It was cold, hunger, and dust. And then, something cracked. Summer 1932.
Yeah,
Thousands
but
of World War
the
I
fucked up thing
veterans
there is that
desperate-
that wasn't his fault. He didn't cause the crash. He came into it. Whoever did everything before us who's responsible.
Desperate and forgotten, marched to Washington. They had been promised bonuses for their service decades from now, but they needed them now. They built the tent city outside the Capitol and waited peacefully. Congress said no, Hoover said no, and then the army came. I fought for this country. So did I. Tear gas was fired. Camps were burned. Families fled into the smoke. The government had turned its weapons on its own heroes. And for the first time, Americans watched in disbelief, not just at what was happening, but at who they had become. Radicalism spread, socialist rallies, communist recruitment, not because people believed in theory, but because capitalism had left them with nothing but hunger. Crime surged. Bank robbers like Dillinger and Bonnie and Clyde were seen not as villains, but as
What do you think about capitalism?
It needs to be regulated, bro.
That's what I was just about to say. Like capitalism
To
without
break up monopolies. You can't just let the big companies swallow up all the little ones. So yeah, I'm anti-commie, but I'm not also extreme cap. Like there's got to be some social responsibility.
it's a balance, right?
And it shouldn't be a blank check. Like if you're getting benefits, there's always some kind of job that should be made for those people to do. Like what the there's no free ride for nobody. That's a problem.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like just giving people blank checks for EBT and they can just like the people don't want to work, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a whole other story, bro. The fact that like people in those communities, like they make more by just being on welfare than if they worked a job. They'd make like what, an extra $50 a week if they worked
Yeah, it's
the
like,
entire week. They're incentivized not to just stay
but
poor.
that's a form of slavery. You're purposely held down.
Except they don't contribute anything.
folk heroes, people who struck back at the institutions that had betrayed everyone else. America wasn't just broke, it was broken. And yet, even then, something held. Not belief, not optimism, but endurance. People didn't give up. They migrated, they lined up, they held their families.
And you know, back then you could still go back to Italy and have your hometown and maybe your uncles and aunts there. There ain't no going back to Italy anymore, bro. The whole world is controlled.
It's over, it's over.
So you need a free America. You need a free America if you want to free the world.
They survived, not because they were certain things would get better, but because they had no other choice. But the question remained, in a country that once promised endless growth, what was left when the growth stopped? And who, if anyone, could lead them out of the wreckage? By
World War
March
II and the
1933,
Great New Deal.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt stood at the podium for his inauguration. Millions leaned in. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, he said. Not gold, not banks, not even dust. Fear. It was more than a speech. It was the first deep breath the country had taken in years. Roosevelt didn't wait. Within weeks, young
made
men
sure you
in
started
threadbare
World War
clothes
II.
were handed shovels, tents, and purpose. The Civilian Conservation Corps put them to work. You're here to plant trees and save the country? In that order? The Works Progress Administration soon followed. Millions hired to build roads, bridges, schools, post offices. They didn't just rebuild infrastructure, they rebuilt pride. People who had once stood in breadlines now stood on scaffolding, lifting steel into the sky. In the Tennessee Valley, FDR launched the TVA. Dams went up, lights flicked on. Whole towns that had lived in darkness began to glow. Families gathered around radios, not because they could finally afford one, but because for the first time, they had electricity to plug one in. Slowly, unmistakably, life stirred. GDP rose, unemployment crept downward, the dust settled. Literally and figuratively. People dared to imagine a future again. But FDR didn't stop at jobs. He wanted to fix the machine, not just oil it. So he built rules. The SEC, to keep Wall Street from doing Wall Street things.
Yeah, they did a horrible job so far.
They've done amazing.
FDIC, to protect your money from disappearing again. Banks reopened. But this time, people weren't running in to withdraw everything in a panic. They were depositing. Then came Social Security. It didn't make anyone rich. It didn't need to. It said, you matter. We'll remember you. You won't have to work until you collapse. It wasn't flashy, but it was monumental. Even the arts got a job. The Federal Arts Project paid painters, photographers, and writers to capture the soul of a recovering nation. One photo, Migrant Mother by Dorothea Lange, became the face of it all. Her eyes didn't say, we're saved. They said, we're surviving.
Buddy, you couldn't just pull up the actual picture. You had to make a cartoon of it.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
That's the...
This is a super famous photo.
Yeah.
Everyone in here should have seen this before.
Hollywood chimed in too. People packed into theaters to watch The Wizard of
And it
Oz,
began.
where a gray world turned to color. In the middle of a depression, Americans still dreamed, maybe more than ever. Cities buzzed again. Restaurants reopened. Radios played swing music. And if you squinted, just a little, the skyline looked like it was rising again. In the distance, factories started humming. But this time, not just with consumer goods. Helmets, boots, ammunition. The world was shifting again. And America?
And a painter rose.
America was starting to stir, not just for recovery, but for something bigger. The Great Depression didn't end with a celebration. It ended with work. With blistered hands and tired backs. With legislation, hope, and a little jazz. With a nation that had collapsed, choosing piece by piece to rise again. But as America stood back up, it didn't realize that something else was already on the horizon. Something darker.
A
And this
painter.
time, the whole world would feel it.
A painter rose.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the smash button, like, join the SunnyFaz Discord. For those of you that want to get started as a clipper, I'm about to be dropping a ton of opportunities for you. It's totally free to get started. So join the server.
Yeah, you haven't indigested, huh?
And that's about
That
it.
pizza's coming back up.
That pizza's coming back up.
Make sure you follow Unc at Beck Lover NYC.
Links in the description for Unc stuff.
We'll keep doing what we're doing. You keep doing what you're doing. And
Fighting
remember,
back.
don't forget.
Later.